I can hand you a pill, if I could hand you like a little silver bullet, a silver pill, and you could just swallow it, I promise you we would sell them. You would explain it to everybody, and it would be free, and they would make excuses, and then you would sell them a magic pill to fix the whole problem. You're just making fun of people that are just wasting money thinking they're buying the solution. I've said this so many times. People would give me their left leg when they could have made phone calls instead, because they're looking for that magic bullet, something they can do all at one time. And what you can't get all at one time, like giving away your leg, is getting the smarts. And I am going to try my damnedest to sell you on the solution before you ever get it. Because you might have to read 32 books before it sinks in. But if I can shortcut that system and get it to you, this would be it. Don't try to do it yourself. Try to get help. The leverage, the concept. Come up here. So, can you talk about this, Riddle? Can you talk about this? The concept of trying to using help, books, audios, and especially people. Okay, so this is my shot at it, and I'm going to turn it over to these guys. You've got to stay around the heat to stay warm. If it's a fire pit, the closer you get to it, the hotter you're going to get, and you got a better chance of catching on fire. The further you'll get away from it, you're not even going to stay warm. So by being here, you feel it. You're like, God, this is so awesome. I've never seen anything like this. It's unbelievable. These people, they're so nice, and they're making money, and some of them are dumber than dirt, and I know I'm smarter than they can. I got a better education. I'm better at talking. I look better. I dress better than some of these people. They don't know what they're doing. And I agree with you. The problem is you have to do it. And the best way you can put pressure on yourself is to stay up in there. Stay close to the heat. Okay? All right. The next thing is talking to somebody else. Help me. Asking for help. It's on the subject, but it's off the subject a little bit. You might think it ain't, but it's there. President's Club. If I go to play a tournament somewhere and they say, would you like a mulligan? I usually say, how many can I buy? Because it's like cheating, but it's fair because they let you take another shot even though it don't count. And sometimes they will let you have 2, 3, or 10. Some people go sucker bet. They're selling these things for $20 a piece. But I'm sitting there looking at the prize to win, that I want the prize to win the tournament. So I always tell my team, we're buying all the cheap tickets we can possibly get. So President Club is a cheap ticket. It's an unbelievable mulligan, a free hit. So I had my inner circle, and I was like, guys, you should be measuring how many people in this leg are in PC, in President's Club, because how many are smart enough to buy? So the arc is now, we're going like, how can we make managers aware of everybody that's in President's Club immediately when they look at the group, based on Jason's suggestion? And we're like, that's a good idea. And then keep monitoring those, because what you're looking for is people that are committed. And it's not like a huge commitment. It's like tiny, but it's one little sign that you're committed. We do that on ticket sales. All the managers get numbers. They know their distribution. Guess where the biggest volume is? Where are the most ticket sales? That's why Terry's got target on Leventovich's back, is saying, if I can get the numbers they got. What y'all say y'all's cash flowing? Come here a minute. What's your cash flow a month now? Cash flow a month, legit.
Yeah, 120 to 140 a month.
120 to 140 a month coming in.
Yes, 120,000 to 140,000 a month.
That's why he's after that. It's just based on the number of people. So how do you get people to understand, well, how many, Fitz, what do you read? 100? I don't know how many books you read a year. I know it's bizarre.
Yeah, I read like 100 books a year. So, Andy, I remember exactly where I was when I learned a really important lesson from you. We were in your basement. It was roughly 1998 to 1999 at some point. So we were arguing about something, and finally he's like, Fitz, what do you want? What are you trying to say? And I said it, and he said, well, I agree. Let's move on. And like 10 minutes later, he said, remember 10 minutes ago when I said I agree? I said, yeah. He said, I don't. But it wasn't important enough to get hung up on. I just wanted to move on. So I agreed. I don't really, but let's just pretend I do. And then he said this, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? That was a seminal moment in my life, and I learned that lesson then. Now, sometimes I have to repeat it to myself, but I learned that lesson then, and it was from there that I started saying, I don't want to be the man. I'm happy with anybody else in this room being the man. I don't want to be the man. I just want to be rich. I don't need my name in lights. I just want to be rich. I don't want people in this room going, that guy is the smartest guy in the room. I just want to be rich. When people come up and they say, oh, it's so great to meet you, I go, yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't really know how to respond to it because I'm not really that impressive. I just want to be rich. So rather than knowing all the stuff, I know how to use all the stuff. Rather than trying to prove I'm smarter than Andy, I know how to use Andy. How do I use Andy? I get people to a conference. I get people on the calls. He's doing them. Now, I don't have to be smart. I just have to be the guy that got him to him. Now, he's the smart guy. That's wonderful. I'm great with that. I just want to be rich. Does that make sense? It's everything. People come and go, man, I want to know about IULs. Well, have you talked to Jeremiah? I don't know if they call it deflecting in psychology, but that's immediately what I'm doing. You want to be a top producer? Oh my goodness, you ought to talk to Michelle Alleman. She's a top producer when she's almost dying. Talk to her. This is what leveraging looks like. It's pushing people to the books. The first time I met John Maxwell, I said, thank you for being my mentor. He knew where I got that from. I got it from his book, where you can be mentored by people who've been dead for 200 years because they're in books. I leverage that information. Why do I read 100 books a year? There was a long time I actually kept a book list just to prove to people. I don't do that anymore. But the reason I read so much is because I can leverage that information. You guys are in sales. You need to know third-party verifier. They always trust the third party more so than they trust you. Tell them directly. Les Giblin's book, Skill with People, said, how great is this lawnmower? Oh, it's so great. I love my lawnmower. I've had it for 15 years. They're not going to listen to that. But you can say, I don't know, it's pretty good. My neighbor's had his for 15 years. It's still running like brand new. They trust that. I'm constantly pointing to a book. Those who are ever listening to me, you know I'm saying, well, this so-and-so said this, or I heard this on a podcast, or I heard this on a call. Like, I'm constantly pointing back to that. That's leverage. Now, what I've got to figure out how to do is to be better at leverage than I am now. I think I'm pretty damn good at it, but I'm not that good. So I got to leverage that good in order to get that rich. Does that make sense?